Happy New Year, and welcome to another Nonsense Retrospective. I'm your host, as always, Rick. Joining me equally as always, Devon.
Hello!
Yeah. Today we're going to go on about things that are coming out this year. This is something we tried last year. We didn't restrict it to the year last year, but now, from now on, the first one of the year is going to be this.
Yeah, we're being real ambitious. Watch this be the last year of the podcast or something.
Oh, yeah, it's like... one of us contracts, I don't know, those river willy worms or something and can't talk anymore.
River willy worms?
Yeah, you can get willy worms from a river.
It doesn't mean you can't talk, though, does it?
I wouldn't want to talk about things if I had a worm in my willy.
Yeah, okay, good point, I suppose, but...
But yeah, before we get too far into that, let's go with the good old time-honored tradition and the first one of the year of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And what have you got for me today?
Just want to point out, before he gave the cutaway, he said, before we get too far into that, as if we're ever talking about that ever again.
No, we're not talking about river willy worms.
Fucking animal. Anyway, Rick, slight spoiler, Rick already knows what my question is today because it required more prep work than zero. But for the sake of the audience, Rick, here's the question. You're now a ruler of a medieval kingdom. Choose 3 bodyguards. Here's the caveat. They are guaranteed 100% loyal. That was to cover my ass for one of my picks. They have error-appropriate tech, so no guns, no futuristic sci-fi bullshit. And more importantly, they can't have magic because otherwise you'd just pick Gandalf.
Or Darth Vader. So I misread this from bodyguards to like retainers, as in your 3 super advisors now that you're their ruler. So the ones that I've picked are less combatants and more people that will help me run the kingdom much more efficiently.
Oh, that is completely different to what I asked you.
Yeah, man. Oh boy.
Alright, let's see how good your bodyguards are, Rick.
Yeah, my bodyguards are a bunch of fucking nerds.
The funny thing is next week I'll ask you about retainers and you're just going to have a bunch of buff dudes.
Yeah. Okay, so my bodyguards were Thrawn as my tactician.
He's got more martial prowess than Zero, but I still wouldn't put him in a bodyguard role.
No, I wouldn't. No, he's the one that has bodyguards, not the one that is one. I had, and then I had, what's the closest thing to a wizard? An inventor. So I picked 2 of them.
Okay.
I picked Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay, so you can have a medieval helicopter, gotcha.
And I picked Nikola Tesla.
Medieval level tech, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. He could very easily change medieval level tech into not medieval level tech, especially if he had Da Vinci to bro out with.
I don't think that's correct, because how far removed Tesla is from medieval level technology. I have no doubt he could make innovations, but he wouldn't be able to make us that big of a jump.
Yeah, it's one of those. I think modern metallurgy is the big one, and that's going to make it more difficult for him to do things like basic electronics. However, he still essentially is one of, if not the most important grandfather of our electricity.
Well, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I don't think he could achieve electricity as we know it, or even as he knew it, with medieval level technology, even if he had all of his knowledge. Like, the best he can do is go to a blacksmith for parts that require metal.
Yeah, for your little copper coils and stuff like that. Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't think blacksmiths very rarely back then would work on such tiny things. I think the smallest thing they'd make would be potentially horseshoe, maybe cutlery.
Nails. Yeah. I think nails are the smallest thing. The thing that you use to put in the horseshoe.
Yeah, and they're not. And nails aren't exactly like
precision instruments.
Exactly. They can be give and sway. Whereas with a lot of, especially more, I'm thinking more modern technology, but tiny parts need to be rather intricate and precise.
Yeah. I mean, things could be as big as they needed to be back then.
It's also a moot point. I still think he's a shit bodyguard.
Yeah, they're all shit bodyguards. How about you? How are your bodyguards going to mollywomp my nerds?
Well, I'll answer first with the person who requires the 100% no question asks loyalty caveat.
Lubu.
Oh yeah, it's Lubu.
It's Lubu.
Yeah. Lubu, the bastard with 3 fathers.
Yeah.
He killed every single one of them.
Yep. Yep.
But Guy was a beast on the on the battlefield. There's no denying that. He was called the Flying General for a reason. And I reckon he'd do pretty good as a bodyguard. I would have just chosen someone else from the Three Kingdoms if the 100% loyalty thing wasn't in play.
Yeah. Like Guan Yu is a very good pick for that.
He's a pretty good pick, as long as you're not an asshole.
Yeah, and I would strive not to be.
Yeah, this is true. My second pick is Sir Arthur Dane from A Song of Ice and Fire. Okay. Yeah.
You're going to have to give me a little briefing. What does he do?
He is the top dog's bollocks member of the King's Guard for Rhaegar Targaryen.
Okay.
He was assigned to protect his missus when Rhaegar fought on the Trident and died, and that's why they argue, that's why fans argue the whole reason why Rhaegar got beaten by Robert is because he didn't have his top dog's bollocks King's Guard with him.
Sure.
Arthur Dane is arguably the best fighter that we get a glimpse of in the mainline series. I'm not counting Sir Duncan at all, although he's more of a brawler. Word of God, aka George R.R. Martin, says that Arthur Dane would be a 50-50 between him and Sir Barristan winning in a duel, unless Arthur Dane has his magic bullshit sword, in which case he wins every time.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm using my own rules of no magic and counting the magical weapon as magic. I'll take him without that sword, but he's still pretty good without it.
Yeah, it's really weird for me because I'm very much an outsider looking into the whole Game of Thrones verse, and it feels that it's a very, very like close to zero magic setting, and yet you think you see things like, oh, you got Bran who wargs, and you've got the literal dragons that show up at the end if you watch the TV show.
Yeah, so it's weird because Game of Thrones, the book starts, it's a very light magic setting, but then by the end of book one, it's like you've got wargs, you've got dragons, you've got basically magic.
Yeah.
So, and there's so many people who can just tell the future.
I can see the future.
Oh, God, you're so right. So they only showed Arthur Dane once in the TV show because they had a flashback scene in, like, season 4 when it should have happened in season 1. Might have been season 5.
Sure.
I don't know. The show dropped off and I stopped caring.
Yeah, I get you.
So, because they couldn't be asked to explain why the sword is magical and makes him a super badass, how would you demonstrate that someone is the best swordsman ever with one shot, Rick?
You probably do the Yaijutsu thing of he draws it and then a bunch of stuff just like gets sliced apart.
You can't do that in live action very well.
No.
No, the answer is they gave him 2 swords.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause that's how lazy they got.
Yeah. How good are you at swords? Well, I'm twice as good as you are, so I can have 2 swords.
Oh, God. But yeah, my final pick is a boring pick, but I don't care. I just picked Achilles.
Yeah! Sweet.
Like, Achilles it doesn't matter what version of Achilles you get in every single myth and every single media that uses him, he is a super mega badass and your problems will go away.
Yeah.
I think the only issue I'd have is he'd probably get bored as a bodyguard.
Maybe so.
But yeah, those are my answers. I think my bodyguards are better than yours.
Yes, they are. Oh boy, yeah, they are.
Rick, what's your question, buddy?
My one is a good old would you rather, and it's would you rather have the stats, abilities, and powers of a level 7 D&D character of your choice, or would you rather have a team of 6 non-legendary Pokemon of your choice?
I want the stats.
Yeah,
I'd have to look after the Pokemon.
Yeah, the caveats in the one that I read this from were like, oh yeah, they start in their base form essentially with the intelligence and abilities of a puppy, and the equivalent of Charizard learning Fire Blasts is getting your dog to qualify for Crufts.
Oh Jesus, yeah, no, I'd hate that. No, I'd definitely take the D&D stats.
Yeah.
But then I'd probably be really boring and be like a ranger or a druid, because I know people like to shit on rangers, but from a survivability perspective, having those stats in real life would be a great big boon.
Yeah, they would. Would you be Jaheira?
Probably be Housen.
Like being like a fighter druid.
No, here's the thing: is I'd be a ranger. I'd lean more towards ranger because that means my archery goes up by like infinite.
Yeah,
I can track. Basically, I want to be Aragorn.
Yeah.
I just want to be Aragorn, please.
I just want to be Aragorn. Yeah. I think the reason they chose level 7 was because like you're essentially a level 1 person anyway, and +1 for everything is like +6 Pokemon +6 levels was what they were getting at, I believe.
Oh, that kind of makes sense. But like, I also feel like level 7 is like you are miles above regular folk, but you're not even a demigod yet in the terms of D&D power scaling.
Yeah. You're late game in the stakes of most 1 to 10 campaigns. Yeah, 1 to 10 modules. You've got your foundations and base floor of most of the things you can do. Everything else you can do is just a roof.
Yeah. But how about you, Rick? Is your answer different, or are you going to go with stats as well? In which case, which class?
Yeah, I'm also picking the stats. I like the idea of being a blade singer because that would be cool, and I get to do wizard stuff. And like I've had Fireball for quite some time, and probably gotten bored with it and gone back to haste. But just to mix things up, I might try and be a bard just so I can actually, have better performance than I actually do, and just like actually be good at things. And yeah, I just think being a bard is actually a pretty damn good cheat for real life.
Well, doesn't bard gives you jack of all trades, doesn't it?
It does. Gives you jack of all trades, so you're reasonably good at everything, and you're very good at a couple of things that you've got expertise in, which is like better than almost anyone else in the world could be, unless they were a demigod.
I get you, man. And also you could be Volo, and oh no, wait, Volo's a wizard. Ignore me.
Yep. I could be what everyone thinks Volo is. It's just like performance and persuasion.
I know we always bring it up, but I absolutely adore the lore that Volo is a wizard that tends to be a bard, but he's so loved by Mystra and like 3 different dragons at this point that nothing can harm him.
Yeah. And he's very upfront about playing the field.
Oh yeah,
it's like I love too many people, but for tonight, your heart is mine, or my heart is yours, or whatever. Yeah. And people just accept that because he's upfront about it.
Yeah, but it's also Faerun, where no one. I feel like the laws of restricting, basically polyamory is optional.
Yeah. Plus, you've always got fetus deleters in case of dire mishap.
You didn't need to take it that direction.
Well, yeah, and paladins being immune to STDs. That's fine too. But yes, today we're talking about our top 5 things to come out this year that we've most anticipated, things that we're looking forward to the most. Before we get into that, do you have any honourable mentions?
That's what Rick's title is, but I've always named it as top 5 hyped media.
Yeah.
Because it's much more precise than having to describe it like a fucking anime title.
Yeah. Like one of them newfangled isekais that you need a freaking paragraph for.
Oh, for real. Man, that's coming up this month. You've got that to look forward to, audience.
Yeah. Isekai paragraph.
But yes, I have precisely one honourable mention. I mentioned to Rick before we started actually recording today that this became an honourable mention because it got bumped off very late in the game because a trailer came out and I went, yes, that's going on my list. So yeah, my honourable mention is The Naked Gun, the Liam Neeson reboot.
Yeah! This is going to be so fun. Or at least I hope it's going to be so fun.
I hope so too. It's slated to come out in 2025. Whether or not it does, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Good shit. I like that.
Rick, you have a lot more honourable mentions than I do. Do you want to go through them and explain why you're hyped?
Yes. So my first honourable mention, which is the only one that's been bumped off my real list, is the Thunderbolts. And the reason that I bumped it off is because the other thing that's on there that occupies the same space, I am slightly more hyped for.
The Thunderbolts, very interestingly, was something on my 2024 hyped list.
Yes. I'm interested to see what they do with the Thunderbolts, just like you said before, in that I like the idea of a morally grey set of superheroes, and we've seen a few of them. Like we've seen US Agent already, and we've met the new incarnation of Thaddeus Ross.
Well, we have and we haven't.
Yeah, we've met Ross. We've not met Rolk. And the other two are things that may or may not come out this year.
Let's hear them.
But they're trying to, and they're going to be on my list until they come out. And it's number 1 is Deltarune episodes 3 and 4.
This was on Rick's list last year.
It was because we thought it might come out last year, and it might come out this year. It's more likely to come out this year than last year.
I think my exact words when you said it were, "That ain't fucking coming out."
Yeah. Yeah, still very hyped for it. Still very beloved by me. And Has Been Hotel Season 2, which is probably going to be out late 25, maybe maybe 26.
I've got a feeling that it's coming out in 2025, although they've been very much close to the chest with that information.
Yeah.
I know Vivian Medrano put on the Twitter, well, it's not on Twitter, it must have been an interview that was shared on Twitter because she quit Twitter because reasons, where it basically said that season 3 of Has-Been Hotel is going to be a long time coming, and it's like, fucking season 2 ain't out yet, so why are people surprised to hear this?
Yeah, because apparently they have already finished the voice recordings for season 2.
Sure, but animation takes time.
It does. It absolutely does.
And you just don't know. They might still want to re-record lines. Just because they're saying that it's done, they might animate it and they might go, let's get some different voice reads for this. Yeah, because like they really like the way that someone animated something and it no longer fits the cadence of what was recorded. Yeah, it's a collaborative effort, really, making a show.
Yeah, totally. But yes, that's my 3 things that are kind of honorable mentions. So, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is, of course, Marvel's first family, and that is the Fantastic Four finally showing up in the MCU. We've only been waiting since the end of Endgame for this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. I've never really cared much for the Fantastic Four, with the kind of weirdly, with the exception of the Thing, because he's just such a nice guy.
Well, the Thing's awesome.
Yeah.
So much so that Taika Waititi brought in Korg just because they couldn't have the Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like a big, strong, rocky fella, and then he made it himself. So he's his own mouthpiece now.
Yeah, I love the Thing. He's great. Johnny Storm's great. A lot of people looking forward to seeing him interact with Spidey. But yeah, most importantly, like, I think they've nailed the casting choice for the Fantastic Four. I think I've already been on record as saying I'm not a big fan of Downey Jr. as Doom. I wish they gave someone else a chance, but it's almost certainly going to be a variant of Doom and not the mainline Doom, because, you know, we're in the multiverse phase of Marvel, which means they can do whatever the fuck they want and it doesn't have to matter.
Yeah, and they could even, like, combine a lot of plot lines they had for Kang with Doom now.
A Doom is a much better villain than Kang.
Oh, definitely. Because not only is he a very good villain, he's also, depending on the portrayal, a very competent protagonist. Not necessarily hero, but protagonist, because he's still a ruler.
Well, my favourite thing about Doom as well is that he is the only character where they've successfully managed to combine science and magic with.
Yeah. Like, the number of variants of him that are just the Sorcerer Supreme of that universe.
Yeah, but that's because he's killed Stephen Strange, though, not because not because he earned it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those where, I love Doom. I also love that Doom will take every opportunity he can to be as petty as fuck towards Reed Richards.
Yeah. He's like an effective Namor.
Namor's better at fucking over Reed Richards than Dr. Doom, and that's not even a joke.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yes, Rick, what about you? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is riffing on the whole Doom aspect. It's Doom: The Dark Ages.
I don't know what this is.
So it is a prequel to the new Dooms, as in like Doom Eternal and things like that, and that it is more medieval based. So there's going to be a lot more swords and blood and guts up close.
All right, so they saw Vermintide, and they were like, yeah, let's do that, but Doom.
Yeah, so it's going to be some heavy metal Vermintide.
Yeah, I could see that being really fun, to be honest.
Yeah, I've not played the other ones because I'm like, by the time I knew it was good, it was already old. And this is one where I can like jump in feet first and go, yeah, little bit of shoot bang fun, but also mostly like beating people up with my spiked fists.
I get you, man. Imagine there's gonna be instead of a BFG, you're just gonna get a big fuck off crossbow. Yeah,
maybe so.
You get Bianca.
Yeah.
And she fire 3,000 rounds a minute.
Yeah, repeater crossbow. Yeah,
like, that's a big upgrade.
Gatling crossbow. Yeah, it is. What's going to be your number 4?
My number 4 is my first video game on my list. It's Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Yes. Okay, so is this also a prequel?
No, God, no. No. I believe it's called Origins because you're following an OC.
Oh, right, okay.
You get to create your player character, and depending on your choices, basically depends on what route you take through the history. They've established that you're going to start during the Yellow Turban Rebellion, and then fuck knows where you're going to end, because your choices are going to determine what battles you play. I think we've only had one in-depth trailer, and it wasn't vague. It was just more focused on the actual combat, and yeah, it's Dynasty Warriors. It's not breaking the mold in that regards.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, sounds like it could be a lot of fun. And I always have a soft spot for Original the character, especially when it's in an established universe.
This isn't Dynasty Warriors' first go at making OCs. Like in every single Empire's game, you could make your own player character. But in this game, it's almost implied that you're going to be like a demigod, like Tai Gong Wong, that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
or at least grow into it.
Again, it's unclear. They've not given much away in regards to the actual plot beats. They've just gone, yeah, it's Dynasty Warriors, get hype. And I am indeed hype, and that's out in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, good shit.
So yeah, what about you? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Phantom Brave 2, and I've mistyped it as the Lout Herp. But it was meant to be the Lost Hero.
Phantom Brave 2? I don't know what Phantom Brave 1 is.
Phantom Brave 1 is the... it's when Nippon Ichi were like, okay, we've done Disgaea. What else can we do in the tactical space? And they tried to do off-grid Disgaeas. So this is the first one they did, where, your movement is based around a radius. Your AoEs are circles. And it's just Disgaea on circles. And the way that you summon characters is your summoner, Marona, who is your main character and viewpoint protagonist. They look for shit on the battlefield and they summon a phantom into it. And as far as Marona can see, it is that phantom, which is like your regular characters. But for everyone else, it's just, okay, that book is now possessed and is now flying around. So people think that she's possessed. They think that she's some kind of witchcraft person. But if you spend 5 minutes with the girl, you realize that she's an absolute treasure of rainbows and light, and there's no way that all of these salacious rumors are true, and she saves the world, and this is now the sequel.
Okay, so we're following the same protagonist, confirmed.
Yeah, following Marona. The lost hero, however, is Ash, who looks like a Wish.com Lahal.
That can describe about 9/10 of Disgaea characters, though.
Yeah, but he's got the same thing. He's got the red scarf, he's got the blue hair. Yeah, this one wears a shirt.
Fair enough, man. A cross between Lahal and Femme Lahal.
Yeah, girly Hall. But yeah, he just looks like generic Hero A, and he's basically Marona's first and main phantom, to the point that you will summon him on most of your maps when you're playing through the game, and he is your powerhouse, whereas Marona is more of a mage.
Yeah, makes sense.
And he is the lost hero, and you have to go find him. And it's been a long time since we've had something like this that's essentially a Nippon Ichi sequel to something that's not Disgaea.
Yeah, I think Makai Kingdom got one, but that was like 20 years ago.
Makai Kingdom was technically a sequel to Phantom Brave, because in Japan, Phantom Brave was followed by Phantom Kingdom, which is Makai Kingdom, which had the same kind of gridless circle movement.
Yeah, that's not confusing.
Yeah. Oh, there's even a thing where Lord Zeta goes, oh, if you wanted some heartwarming drama, you should have played Phantom Brave. But yes, that's my number 4. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is the thing that bumped the Naked Gun reboot off my list. If you've not seen the trailer, the teaser for it already, I can highly recommend it, and it is going to be Superman.
Ah, yeah, the new Superman. They didn't need to give us all the things that are not Superman. However, I appreciate that they are doing.
I forgot that Guy Gardner was confirmed for that movie.
Yeah.
And then we saw him, and honestly, Guy Gardner is my second favourite Green Lantern, because he's such a dick. And I absolutely adore that the glimpse that we got of him was just being no nonsense. Alright, Superman needs a moment. Bang.
Sweet. Yeah.
I assume you've seen the teaser, yeah?
I have, yeah. And also Crypto comes to save him, which is cute.
Yeah, and everyone won't shut the fuck up about the fact that Superman's doing the Yamcha death pose.
Super Yamcha.
I know this might be controversial. I'm saying I think this might be controversial. I don't think it is. We just got one friend who has a hate boner for James Gunn. I think James Gunn really does understand what comic book fans want from comic book movies.
Yeah. And, good on him for landing not only a job at Warner Brothers DC, but like the job at Warner Brothers DC, which is tying things together, which is something that the DC Expanded Universe needs and has needed for quite some time.
Yeah, this movie looks like it's going to give everyone what they want. Like, just straight out the bat. I know Suicide Squad was technically James Gunn's first project, but this feels like the first proper project in the new DCU.
Yeah, I feel you. It'll be interesting to see if they allow him to keep his story beats from the Suicide Squad. Like, it feels like it would be throwing away the one good movie if they didn't.
I kind of get you, but it's also like, it doesn't matter, it's the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Yeah, you can restart the Suicide Squad at any point as long as you've got a Harley Quinn somewhere.
It's honestly weird, because usually the two iconic members are not Deathstroke, Deadshot and Harley Quinn, and they didn't even bring Deadshot back.
Yeah, because Will Smith was too expensive.
Well, also, I don't think Will Smith should have played that role. I don't think he was good at it.
No. Will Smith is normally better as a main protagonist, not a deuteragonist. He's not very good at sharing the spotlight, you know?
Well, he's also got the problem of, like, and I don't know if this is true or not, it's just what I read. They made Deadshot left sort of a scumbag because Will Smith didn't want to play a scumbag.
Right, okay.
That's what I read. I read it in one article. It could be bullshit. However, Will Smith has enough clout that, yes, I could see that being a thing.
Yeah.
Also, Will Smith's name ain't worth shit anymore since that slap.
No.
You know, anyway. Superman looks great. I think we saw glimpses of either Hawkgirl or Hawkman. I couldn't really tell the gender because they were on screen for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Something with wings, and we couldn't tell whether or not it had tits.
Yeah. The only thing I've got that I'm weirded out by is that Lex Luthor's corporation is called Luthor Corp for some reason.
And not LexCorp. Yeah. I also was like, I don't know much about DC. I do know that.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, to be sure. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie. It might be a movie I have to see on my own, because again, I've got one friend who's just sick of superhero movies, and the other friend has got such a hard-on for Marvel, they don't like watching DC movies, which is a weird thing to do, but whatever.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm not naming names, but they know who they are if they're listening. Rick, what's your next number?
My next number is my also number 3, and that's going to be Pokemon Legends ZA. This is going to be coming out probably sooner rather than later. Probably around about the
You can do it, Rick. I believe in you.
Probably about the time of the Switch 2.
Yeah, man. I've been seeing so many tweets lately of, literally the day after Christmas. It would have been Friday after Christmas because I had to promote the episode. And the amount of people tweeting, Switch 2 was trending. Not because it had been announced, but because people were like, man, these kids are all going to be pissed off in about 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of like sharing a spot with the Switch 2 itself, but the Switch 2 is basically nothing without the games that come out on it. And ZA, I'm looking forward to it because I really liked Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I really like the Kalos region's Pokemon. So this is the Legends game for me because I didn't give much of a shit about Sinnoh, but I really like Kalos. So yeah.
Yeah, I get you, man. I didn't play Arceus, obviously, but I heard great things, partly from you, and I want to play a new Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's the most fun I've had playing a Pokemon game single player because it felt like things were new and fresh, even though they were all definitely old Pokemon apart from like 10 new variants. Bring it on. What's going to be your number 2?
My number 2 is Wake Up, Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
Okay.
I really like the Knives Out movies. I love Daniel Craig. I love the sassy detective from Kentucky. The first movie was fun. The second movie was great and had an all-star cast because you can have an all-star cast when there's only 6 characters.
Yeah.
I love classic murder mysteries, and I like classic murder mysteries that have a logical conclusion. If you're smart, you can follow along and work it out. I've yet to watch a detective movie. They just don't happen anymore. Like, I think we had The Murder on the Orient Express not too long ago, which was a Poirot story. But like, they just don't make this shit no more. I miss them, and I'm not watching Sherlock.
No.
God, I don't like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I think modernising Sherlock Holmes is a mistake.
Yeah. Well, it's not too modern, but it is kind of modern.
It is modern, though. It's like 2012.
Not in the Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, I was thinking of the Robert Downey Jr. one.
Oh no, that was
you said Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, so the Robert Downey Jr. one's even weirder because it's set like pre-World War II, but it's in this weird steampunk universe, so it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like Steam War 2.
See, I actually love that adaptation because it's weird and wacky.
Yeah, and you don't know where things are going to go because they change a couple of things around just to fuck with you.
And Stephen Fry plays Mycroft, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Mycroft is Sherlock's brother, and who is quote unquote smarter than Sherlock, but can't be fucked.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love that character trope of this person is this person but better, but they can't be asked.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to this next one. I've got no idea what the plot's going to be. I've got no idea who's cast in it. I don't care. I want more Benoit.
Yeah.
Rick, who is or what is your number 2 hyped media for 2025?
This is the one that bumped the Thunderbolts off. This is Captain America 4: Brave New World.
This looks shit.
Yeah, but the world needs a Captain America movie where it's Captain Falcon, and it's we need to piss off the chuds.
Okay, but the movie doesn't look good. Like I saw a trailer for this not too long ago, and I was like, oh, this looks naff. And it's a shame because I really want to root for the new Cap. Why the fuck is Red Hulk in this movie?
I don't know. Yeah, so this is going to be essentially the introduction of Red Hulk, as far as I'm aware, before the Thunderbolts. And I just want it to be good. Like, I didn't expect Winter Soldier to be good, and it kind of was. But like, the Captain America movies have not disappointed me so far yet.
Okay,
so
that's
looking forward to it.
That's a valid way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I don't think Captain America works nearly as well as a solo hero.
I get you, which is kind of why they give him like his own little mini Cap team. Like, Sam was on the mini Cap team, but now he's Cap.
I'm just saying, man, I think they need... Basically, since Secret Invasion? The Skrull series, which I didn't even watch past episode 1 because it was so abysmal. I'm just like, okay, so who's a secret Skrull still? Yeah,
like that's something hanging over everyone's head, and it just completely character assassinated Rhodey.
That pisses me off!
Yeah, like the Rhodey that we had during all of the Endgame saga was just the Skrull. It's so crap.
I'm not happy. I'm bothered that we brought this up.
Your number 1.
My number 1 is, or rather, shouldn't be a big surprise. It's Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Yeah! That's like really imminent now, isn't it?
February.
Okay.
It's out in February, early February as well. Or it got bumped up in release, and the joke being that they didn't want to compete with Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Which, I don't think it would compete that much with Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter is a very much, well, first of all, it's big old co-op game.
It's multiplayer, yeah.
And it's one of those games that lasts a while. It's one of those games where you'll do the main beats and then you'll hunt a bit, and then it's like, cool, I'm now going to continue playing this game until the next Monster Hunter comes out. Yeah, like you'll leave it on the back burner for a while, and then an update will come out. Oh, Devil Joe came. Oh, okay, let's go hunt Devil Joe again. And they'll leave it for a while. And oh, it's Easter. Okay, let's hunt eggs. I mean, I remember a mutual friend of ours said, "Oh, are you excited for the new Monster Hunter?" And I went, "Not really." And they were like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because I'm genuinely 100% convinced that I won't play it with you guys."
Yeah. Like, if you get it on PC, you can play it with me. However, I had a miserable time with the beta, so oh well. We'll see if it works at all.
It's one of those where the only reason I got into Monster Hunter Worlds is because I played it with you and our 2 other friends, and then that lasted for a fair trek, but then it just dissolved, and then we've never played Monster Hunter again since, despite being like 2 games deep now.
Yeah, this is a good time for you to ask about my number 1, unless you got more to talk about with Majima's Pirate Yakuza.
Pirate Yakuza looks great. The guest cameos that they've shown off in the trailers are top tier. I'm looking forward to playing classic Black Flag pirate controls, because that appears as if they've literally just ripped that system and gone, yep, cool. Do you want to play Black Flag? Here you go.
Yep. Because fucked if Ubisoft is going to let you play Black Flag.
Yeah, for real, man. They've got that on lock. And it's a game where we're going to play 100% as Majima, which, to my recollection, we've never played a game where we control just Majima. He was 50% of Yakuza 0, and he was 25% of Yakuza Dead Souls. So, it's going to be interesting. Someone pointed out that the trailer straight up says, oh, Goro has got amnesia, and it's like, boy, can't get more different into your attitude to amnesia than Majima and Kiryu.
Yeah.
Like, Kiryu's like, oh, I need to track down my memories, I need to regain myself. Majima's like, fuck it, I'm a pirate now.
Yeah. There's a fake pirate ship over there. I've got an eye patch. I must fit in with this. I'm a pirate.
Yeah, it looks great. They're clearly just going to reuse their assets from the last Yakuza game, because that was set in Hawaii. And guess what? Yakuza fans don't care. We've been playing in the same city for 20 goddamn years, and we've not complained once, because the games are so fun.
Yeah.
Rick, I think I know the answer, but what's your number one?
Yeah, my number one is Monster Hunter Wilds, and we've just talked about it, and yeah, it's rather disheartening that our friend group seems to be vehemently opposed to playing with each other. But that's okay. We can have new friend groups with blackjacks and hookers.
Well, that's just it. It's like, okay, one person that we used to play with has this problem with video games where they and I'm not going to shit on them for it, but they do it with every game. So it's why I'm just like completely disenfranchised with ever doing something with them. And that is, they're like, yeah let's play this game together. And I went, cool, great. Sometimes we'll play the first level or two together. And then it's like, cool, I'll play with you again shortly. And then the next time you talk to them, it's like, okay, so I beat the game. And I went, okay, cool.
Yep, the Newman problem. And like, you can't even make multiple characters for that thing, kind of thing. Like, yeah, you can, but you can't do it for the first time again.
It's one of those. And the thing that bugged me with the last Monster Hunter game, and this will really hammer home who I'm talking about if they're Nistling, which I know they're not, is they said, oh yeah, I stayed up all night playing it with some Japanese people that I met that night, and he just finished the game with some... I mean, I'm not going to criticise someone playing the game with strangers and meeting new people, but you know, we were going to play this game together and get it done, and instead you met up with random strangers and pulled an all-nighter, which you know I can't do.
Yeah.
It's a shitty thing to do, that's all I'm saying.
A little bit, but you know, this is the way that some people be, and it looks good. From the small amount that I did get to play, that bit felt good, but I'm sick of playing the opening.
Well, yeah, you would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I had like 4 hours of game time, and I'd only managed to get off the mount once.
So, graphically speaking, because I've really not looked at this, it's more in vein with Worlds, isn't it?
Yeah. It's more in vein with Worlds. It's very much a Worlds 2 kind of idea.
I get you.
And yeah, it takes place in what appears to be mostly a desert zone to begin with.
Okay.
Rather than being like a tropical island that goes to other places, you start in a desert that goes to other places.
I was told that they've gone kind of weirdly open world with it. Is that correct?
It feels that way, yeah. So I think the zones that you pick are massive, but like they're more open worldy than has been previously. But then again, I really liked the curated experience that Worlds had.
Well, that's why I liked Worlds, because it wasn't open world, it was maps.
Yeah, it was a map. The map was finite. You didn't have to load in between zones on the map, but you know, it was a curated experience where everything was placed, everything was created, everything was like, it was there for a reason.
I've got to be honest with you, it's one of the reasons why I kind of enjoyed Rise a lot as well, is because it was just a very small area, and it's like, oh, you want to hunt this thing? Here you go, hunt the thing. Yeah.
It's not leaving until you get the message that it's left. But yeah, looking forward to it. This is the one, the weird thing is that with Rise, the wire bugs were not everyone's favourite, but I think they helped certain playstyles way more than others. I'm going to feel the loss of it more than, say, a Hammer Bro would, because Hammer Bros just like to hit things with hammers. But like me being a dual blade guy, I'm like, oh, well, if I'm not over there hitting things a million times, then I'm just losing all of my power.
Yeah, here's me hitting things a million times near the head, which the Hammer guy said to avoid.
But yes, that's it for us today. If you liked the video, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube.
Whoa, hold on 1 second though. Just to give people a bit of a preview in case they didn't realise it, the reason why we're doing this at the beginning of the year is at the end of the year, we're going to have a nice little look back at all the things we said we were looking forward to and realise we were wrong to look forward to those things.
Yeah, the fat controller laughed. You are wrong. Yeah, because last year we both had Star Wars Outlaws on our list, and neither of us ended up buying it because it was so scummy.
Yeah, and by all accounts, it was broken.
Yeah, they've put more time and effort into it since, and by all accounts, it is a slightly better game than it released as, but oh well.
And I didn't have to yell at Rick this time for putting something on his list that was coming out literally when the episode was coming out.
Yeah, not this time. Unless one of them gets bumped up out of nowhere. It's definitely not going to be Pokemon, because they like to milk little things about it, like, oh, we're going to get an announcement of, ooh, this is going to be the starter, ooh. But yes, actually, do you want to do a favourite of the other favourite, or should we just move on?
No point, because you mentioned 3 things that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, so if you like the video, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube. If you're listening via audio, you've got the comment section on Audacity, on Spotify. If you're listening on something other than Spotify, you can instead send us an email, which would go to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Let us know what you're looking forward to in 2025. Obviously, Rick and I have very, not limited, but different spheres of what we're interested in. So what's coming out that we might not necessarily know about. And, you can also send us other insightful things. If you send us something funny or insightful, we'll read it out on another episode.
Yeah. And for once, we didn't actually cross over other than in ancillary statements. But yes, it's going to be a goodbye from me.
Goodbye, guys. We'll see you again next week for... I mean, we've got it on the plan, but we're not sure which one we're doing yet.
Bye, everybody.